What you are looking at right now, this attendance sheet that fills itself automatically, took me about 15 lines of Python to build. Yes, just 15 lines. If you're a student or beginner who thinks Python is too hard, too complicated, or just not for you, I want you to stay with me for the next few minutes. Because by the end of this video, you're going to build exactly this yourself. Step by step. No experience needed. No shortcuts. Just real, simple code that actually works. Hello and welcome to Soft Hat Coding Karwan, the channel where we learn programming the practical way by actually building real things that solve real problems. I'm your host, and today we are starting with one of the most useful and practical beginner Python projects out there, making a Google Sheet completely with Python. No clicking, no typing data manually, just pure automation. This is perfect for you if you're a student who manages attendance, grades, or any kind of data by hand every single day. That manual work takes time, and honestly, it's frustrating. So today, we are going to get rid of it together, step by step. So let me show you exactly what we are building today. We are going to write a Python script, a simple, beginner-friendly script that automatically opens your Google Sheet and marks attendance for every single student on your list, present or absent. No manual typing. No clicking through cells one by one. Just run the script and it handles everything for you. And the best part? Every single time you run this script, it automatically creates a brand new column with today's date. So your entire attendance record stays organized, updated, and clean without you doing anything extra. Now here is what I really want you to understand. This is not just a tutorial exercise. This is a real, working project. Something you can actually use every day. Something you can put in your portfolio. And honestly, something that will genuinely impress your teachers or professors if you show it as a university project. Alright, so before we write any code, we need to set up two things first. Just two simple installations and we are ready to go. So open your terminal. If you are on Windows, just search for command prompt. And if you are on Mac or Linux, just open your terminal app. Now type in these two commands one by one. First, type pip install gspread and hit enter. Wait for it to finish. Then type pip install auth to client and hit enter again. That's it. Type pip install auth to client and hit enter again. That's it. Two commands. Done. Now, let me quickly explain what these two things actually are, because I don't want you to just copy commands without understanding them. Gspread is a Python library. Think of it as a bridge between your Python code and Google Sheets. Without it, Python has no way to open or edit your Google Sheet. It simply cannot communicate with Google. And auth to client, this one handles the security and login part. When your Python script tries to access your Google Sheet, Google needs to verify that it is actually you giving permission. Auth to client takes care of all of that authentication process automatically. What you might be thinking, setting up Google credentials sounds complicated. But don't worry at all. I am going to show you every single step, right on the screen. You will not get lost. Let's keep going. Step 1. Open Google Chrome. Search bar, search console.cloud.google.com.
When you first time open this, there have some permission like this. Mark this, and then click on Agree, and Continue. At your left side, there is an option of Select a project. Click on this, and then click on New Project. And then type a name of the project, that is Attendance Project, and click on Create, and then wait for a few seconds now. Now it is successfully created. And now at your left side click on More option. And here is APIs and Services. Click on this and click on Library option. Now in search bar search Google Sheet API and press enter. Click on Google Sheet API. On enable and wait for few seconds after enable this. Click on back arrow and again search for Google Drive API and press enter. Click on Google Drive API and also enable this same like Google Sheet API. Now at our left side there is an option of credentials. Click on this. Now here click on Create Credentials and click on Service Account. Now here set the service account name, that is attendance bar. And click on Create and Continue. Now click on Done. Now here click on this email. And now here go to Keys section. Now click on Add Keys. Click on Create New Key Selection and click on Create. And now here it is automatically download. Now open File Manager. Now rename this downloaded file, that is credentials.json. After this, move this file to our Python folder. Here we create a new folder for project, that is attendance project. And open this folder. Now here paste file, that is credentials.json. Now open this file, that is credentials.json in Notepad and copy this client email. Now open Google Sheet and at our right side there is a button of share. Click on this and here paste that email which was copied from Json file and set permission as editor and click on send button. Now let's write the actual script. Open your code editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code and create a new file called attendance.py. Let me explain what each part does. We import the tools we need. Spread talks to Google Sheets. Service account Takentis handles the login. And date gives us today's date automatically. Now let me explain what this part of the code is actually doing, because understanding your code is just as important as writing it. The first thing we are defining here is called scope. Think of scope as a permission list. We are basically telling Google, hey, we need permission to access Google Sheets and Google Drive. These two links are not websites you visit, they are just Google's way of identifying which permissions we are asking for. Every time Python connects to Google, it checks this list and grants access accordingly. Next we have credentials. This line is reading your credentials.json file, the file we downloaded from Google Cloud Console earlier. It combines that file with our permission list and creates a secure login package. And finally, we have client. This line takes those credentials and actually logs into Google on your behalf. After this line runs successfully, your Python script is officially connected to your Google account and ready to access your sheet. Now let us look at the next 3 lines of our code, and these are really exciting because this is where Python actually starts talking to your Google Sheet. The first line is sheet equals client.openAttendanceSheet.sheet1. What this does is really simple. Python is opening your Google Sheet by its name. Just like you would open a file on your computer by clicking on it, Python is doing the exact same thing here, but automatically. And .sheet1 means we want the first tab of that sheet, the one you can see at the bottom of your Google Sheet. The second line is students equals sheet.callValues1. This line is reading the entire first column of your sheet, which is your students list, and saving all those names into a variable called students. So now, Python has a complete list of all your students stored in its memory, ready to use. And the third line is today equals stardate.today. This is getting today's date automatically from your computer. You do not need to type the date manually ever again. Every single time you run this script, Python checks your system clock and gets the current date by itself. So in simple terms, first line opens the sheet, second line reads all student names, third line gets today's date. And with just these 3 lines, Python knows exactly which sheet to use, who the students are, and what date it is today. Now let us move to the next 3 lines, and this is where the magic of automation really starts to show. The first line is headers equals sheet.rowValues1. This line is reading the entire first row of your Google Sheet, which contains your column headers. Remember, we have students in the first column, and then date columns after that. Python is reading all of those headers and saving them into a variable called headers. The second line is call equals len headers plus 1. Now, this is a really clever line. Len headers counts how many columns already exist in your sheet. Then we add 1 to that number, which gives us the position of the next empty column. So if you already have 3 date columns, Python will automatically find the 4th column and use that. You never have to worry about which column to use. Python figures it out by itself every single time. And the third line is sheet.updateCell1 call today. This line is writing today's date into that new empty column we just found. So every time you run this script, Python finds the next empty column and writes today's date at the top completely automatically. So in simple terms, first line reads existing headers, second line finds the next empty column, third line writes today's date there. This is what makes your attendance sheet grow automatically day after day without you doing anything manually. And now we have reached the final and most important part of our code, the for loop. This is where everything comes together and the actual attendance marking happens. The first line is for iStudent in enumerate students start equals 2. Now, let me break this down simply. Students with square bracket 1 colon means we are skipping the first row because the first row is our header which says students, and we do not want to mark attendance for that. Enumerate gives us 2 things at the same time, the position number and the student name. And start equals 2 means we start counting from row 2 because row 1 is our header row. So basically this loop is going through every single student in your list, one by one, automatically. The second line is status equals input. This line stops the script and asks you a question for each student. Is this student present? You simply type Y for yes or N for no and hit enter. That is all you have to do. And the third line is sheet.updateCell. This is the line that actually writes in your Google Sheet. If you typed Y, it writes present. If you typed N, it writes absent. And it writes it in exactly the right row and column automatically. So in simple terms, this loop goes through every student, asks you present or absent, and instantly writes the answer into your Google Sheet. This is the heart of our entire automation script. Okay, the moment we have all been waiting for. Let's actually run this script and see if it works. I am going to hit the run button and see what happens. And look at that, it is already working. You can see it is asking me about each student one by one. Is this student present? I will type Y for yes. Next student, I will type N for absent. And it just keeps going through the entire list automatically. One by one. Nice and clean. Okay, I have marked a few as present and a few as absent. Now comes the most satisfying part. Let me switch over to our Google Sheet tab and refresh the page. And there it is. Look at this. All the data is right there filled in automatically, perfectly organized, with today's date sitting right at the top as the column header. We did not type a single thing into this sheet manually. Python did everything for us. And here is the really powerful thing about this script. Every single time you run it tomorrow, next week, next month, it will automatically create a brand new column with that day's date. So your entire attendance record just keeps building itself. Day after day. Automatically. And that is it. Just 15 lines of Python and you have just automated something that most people in your class are still doing completely by hand, every single day. Now here is your challenge for this week. Try adding an email notification to this script that automatically sends an alert whenever a student is marked absent 3 days in a row. Give it a shot, you will learn a lot just by trying. If this video helped you even a little bit, please hit that like button right now, it genuinely means a lot and it helps this channel reach more students just like you. And if you want to keep building real, useful projects like this one every single week, hit subscribe. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Full code is in the description below. See you in the next one.